Yeah. There's like an etiquette to this, you know? So one hand is a little crazy.
I know it's hard to.
Yay!
Mix everything together.
Yep, then you just mix it all together and it's really the lime for me. For the salad. It's the lime and the cilantro. Oh, and the arugula.
And then
Work hard to push the start, right?
Yes, it is. Oh. But
I like living in the house with a man.
The rice?
Hold my birth for you.
it's a nice texture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you taste the like nuttiness of the rice though?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a real earthy flavor. Yeah, this is delish. It tastes almost the same.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Hold on. Hmm. Can you go back? Can you go back?
Welcome back, everybody, to Joe Speaks. I'm back with episode 2, like promised, with my girl Kay and a special guest, her daughter. Say hey, baby. So today we made
We made the crispy rice bowl from Sweet Green.
Sweet Greens. It's bomb.com. You see my bowl right here.
1 second, my love.
It's bomb. Hold on. I'm just life of a mom, y'all. Today we made what we made.
We made the crispy rice bowl from Sweet Green.
Yes, and it was so good. Kay did her thing. I helped out, but Kay did most of the cooking. All right, she did her thing. How do you like it, Kay?
It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. I now know how to perfect the dressing.
Okay.
So next time it's gonna be like to a T.
And we can't forget the wine. So today we're gonna have a good conversation with Kay. She does so much in her life, so I'm gonna answer the first question, and we're gonna get started. But before we get started, don't forget to go watch the last video we have out with my other friends, and we made fried plantain balls. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So if you haven't yet, we're gonna take a pause, and I'm gonna wait for you to go back and do that. So Kay, I know the people want to know about you because she does a lot of things, y'all. And I could talk about her, but we're gonna let her talk about herself. So who is Kay? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I do a lot. I run my own. Greg and I run our own dog training company, where we are full-time dog trainers. We also facilitate like off-leash pack hikes and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm also a photographer. I've been a photographer for I think it's hitting 13 years maybe. And I also in 2019 started my Mama's Healing Basket business. And so that is a startup business where I am creating gift baskets for new mothers, postpartum, pregnancy, and all that. So I created in 2019 a business called Mama's Healing Basket where I create gift baskets for new mothers, postpartum, also pregnancy, and overall women's wellness. And my mission for that is to really just help people take back their postpartum, their healing rights, to empower families to take that back, especially because I know that living in a world like today, a lot of women aren't able to have the births that they may want due to so many reasons. And so I created Mama's Healing Basket for women like that who couldn't have maybe the birth that they wanted, to be able to take back their healing rights, to take back something, to be in control of something. And I'm a mother. We are also homeschooling, so we're doing like homeschooling stuff, and yeah.
I like that, especially the Mama's Basket, because I feel like especially postpartum women, there's certain things in those baskets that would help them after or help them during their pregnancy. So all that is So important. So I like
Yeah,
that.
thanks. And everything is handmade. It's all, I'm into apothecary and herbal medicine and stuff like that. And so everything that's in the basket is handmade and really focused on like postpartum healing. I'm even partnered with a company called Wholenest.
Okay.
And they sell just a few different type of postpartum product and also first aid kit stuff. And so I've got a few of their items in my baskets now too, which is really cool because the items just like keep piling up. So yeah, it's really fun. It's great.
I like it. So we just spoke about what Kay does, and she mentioned something about the healing basket and being pregnant or after pregnancy. One thing moms want to do is heal themselves, right?
Yeah.
So this is where the health and wellness journey ties in. I always say health and wellness journey is not about nutrition and exercise, but it's more on your mental state, your self-care and everything. But I remember on Instagram you mentioned a little bit about body image and feeling comfortable in your body.
Yeah.
So tell the people, like, how are you dealing through that, and what are you doing to help you change that mindset of body image?
Yeah.
And then after, I'll ask you the part of the question.
Body image issues are definitely very complex. I've never necessarily experienced them before up until after I gave birth to my first Lazarus.
Yeah.
My journey has definitely been very up and down. Like, I've never weighed as much as I do now.
Yeah.
And just a few months ago, it was really hard.
Yeah.
I was just like really struggling. I was just like, I am just struggling and I don't know what to do. I started going to the gym. Because the importance of like take back, right? Like I'm taking back, I'm gaining control. That's what it's really all about. It's not necessarily about, for me at least, it's not about necessarily seeing results right away. It's more of like, okay, I'm finally like, I'm gaining more control in this aspect of my life. So for me, I think a lot of my body image issues came from a lack of control. Just like increase of like bad behaviors, bad eating patterns, like stress eating, eating too much carbs, sugars, all that stuff. So, I started going to the gym. And also, like, something that's definitely super important to, like, my confidence journey is, like, mine and Greg's sex life. For sure.
Listen.
Gotta keep it spicy,
okay,
alright?
You do.
Gotta keep it spicy, but also that spiciness is what really helps me, like, feel sexy and feminine and, like, willing to, like, kind of let that insecurity go.
And sometimes you need the touch of your partner. And that's where the hormone of oxytocin come in. Because you need that touch to be like, okay, let me just do this with my husband real quick.
Yeah, girl. And, so that's, like, super important to my journey. But also, I had a goal this year to be in the kitchen more. Yeah. And I have really lived up to that goal. Nope, that's not yours. I've really lived up to that goal, and so for me, being in the kitchen more again is just like another way for me to like take that back. So I'm teaching myself different things in the kitchen, learning about palettes and like just opening and broadening my palate. To where like just a few years ago, even a year ago, I couldn't eat this. Like arugula was not something in my palate before, but now just understanding. Also juicing. Juicing, and I also drink this mushroom tea called Rise every morning, which like helps with inflammation and focusness and all that stuff. And so I feel like that's really helping with me as well. Like the tea in the morning where, it's like touching base on like the inflammation and stuff. And so just doing things like that, and also understanding that something that I've really been focusing on lately, like as of like the last 2 weeks, is letting go of beauty standards. Yeah, because I hold a lot of beauty standards, and
that's what people look at people on Instagram, or YouTube, and like, oh, I want to be that, but it's like you don't know what they went through because they probably didn't put that on social media. You have to look at yourself and be like, all right, I'm my own body goals. But I want to be better. That's finding your why. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. I agree with that.
Yeah. And a lot of it was like also really not loving myself. Because we can all say we love ourselves, but like when you look when you look at, like, when you break your day down
Yeah.
and you're like, I was burning myself out all day today.
Yeah.
What did I do to love on me today? So that, along with like really breaking down beauty standards, and just learning that like I don't need to look good for anybody. I just need to look and feel good for myself. And it's really more about like feeling good. And so, you know, I'm slowly breaking that down. I had to take a social media cleanse for that reason. Because I was like, yo, social media is like running my life right now. And I'm seeing all these beautiful women on my timeline, and like I got a bunch of like friends and stuff that's getting BBLs, and I'm just like, you know what? I just need to take a step back.
Listen, the gym is my BBL, so the gym could be a BBL as long as like you're consistent. And then you mentioned something about your palate. Like, people think nutrition is boring, but you could make healthy food taste good.
Look at the salad that we made. It's so
And listen,
good.
y'all, I don't like arugula, but this arugula is hitting with this crunchy rice, okay? So, like, you could really, like, change how food tastes to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So, I like that you said that, and you realizing, like, okay, I need to stop looking onto people and look at myself and love me first. Because once you love you first, you can make all the changes you want to make. So that's important. So what advice? I mean, I feel like you gave a lot of gems already. But what one advice would you give women that just had a baby and is looking at themselves and don't feel sexy, don't even feel sexy to stay naked around their husbands or their partner? Like, what advice would you give them?
You know what? I think the most important thing that I could say would be to redefine your relationship with love and trust. Because everyone, like I said before, everyone says that like they love themselves, but it's actually kind of a hard thing to do. When we're in a society that's literally taught us that we have to continuously progress and continuously like stay intact with trends and standards and all this stuff. And, you know, all of that is just getting us further away from our true selves. And our true selves always want to come from trust and love. You know what I'm saying? So I think, and this also goes for birth, which I don't know if that's one of your questions, but it also goes for birth. Like, if you want to have the birth that you want, and even if things don't happen and you want it, but you still want to be okay with plan B, C, whatever, you have to just trust the process. And you have to just trust, you know, that like things are going to work out and your time is coming. But like, you know, also for postpartum mothers, the most important thing is to rest. Don't worry about bouncing back. Don't worry about getting snatched up before the summertime comes. Like, it's going to come. The most important part is to just rest and give your body time, and everything else will fall into place. So that's what I would say.
That's a good advice.
Thanks.
All right, so I didn't really say how me and Kay met. What do you mean? At a photo shoot.
Yes, because I got booked for
my sister-in-law.
Yep.
So she was booked for my sister-in-law. Photography, I booked her through one of my friends. And then we just started connecting and talking, and she told me about her home birth. It's funny because I told one of my friends that, I'm sorry, but I'm kidnapping your friend for me. Like, she's my friend now. And then he was like, so she's married. I was like, I don't care, she's my friend now. So since then, like, we always work together. We always do things together. I always hit her up if she needs something, vice versa.
Yeah, our relationship has actually grown like very organically.
Yeah, very organically. I talk to you about you to all my friends all the time.
Yeah,
like,
same, vice versa.
So I just want to, just for you to talk to us a little bit about your home birth experience with two kitties. As you can hear them in the background, our special guests. They're super cute.
That's their weapon.
Right? So just talk to us about your home birth. How was that experience? Would you do it again if in the near future you did have more kids? Not saying you should, but if you wanted to. And like, what did you learn about yourself through that process?
That's a great question. I learned so much about myself, and now I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, what did I learn about myself? But I learned so much. My home birthing experiences have been top tier. Like top tier. I'm super blessed, super grateful to have the experiences that I've had. My first home birth was with Laz, and first time mom, had no idea what birth was like. That was exhausting. I really wanted to have him in the pool, but I got in too early, and then that like traumatized me. So I was like, I don't even want to touch the water. I spent most of my time on the toilet. That was like the best position for me. But I had him on my bed. My midwife was amazing, Stephanie. Roots midwifery. And what I really liked about that experience, and I didn't know that I liked it at first, because I had like this expectation of like what a midwife was. I didn't even know what a midwife was at first. I had this expectation of a midwife, and then I got to like connected with Stephanie, and she was really hands off, super hands off, and I loved that.
When I did my first home birth with her,
yeah,
she sat in the kitchen, said, "Well,
she
you
was
let me
just
know when you're ready."
She was just hanging out. And I really liked that because it taught me that birthing really is supposed to be uninterrupted. Excuse me. And, you know, we are the ones that hold the instructions. Well, actually, the baby does, right? But our bodies are the ones that hold the instructions. And when we are allowed and we are given that space to do so, to follow those instructions, 9 times out of 10 we will. And it will go and just do its thing. And so that experience taught me like the foundation of birth. I didn't have any expectations for my first home birth other than having my child at home. My second birth, I was like, oh, it's a game changer. I read Sacred Birthing, the book, which is amazing. Every woman, even if you don't want to have kids, should read that book. I had a vision. We set up a birth altar. I mean, it was a ceremony, like an initiation. I mean, my first birth was definitely an initiation. And what I learned about my first birth is that I can do the things that I have manifested, even when they're scary, or even when I sometimes don't believe them myself, or when I can't envision it. And it really gave me a level of empowerment that I don't even know how to put into words. But I made a business out of it, because I was like, I'm in it now. Like, I need to be in the birth world. I need this. I love birth. I want to be there. I want every woman to have this experience. And when I say this experience, I don't necessarily mean a home birth, although I kind of wish that I could encourage everybody to birth at home. But I mean just like being in control and understanding that this is a rites of passage. We are not taught that. This is like a spiritual experience that could literally change our lives and ourselves forever. Death of the maiden, birth of the matriarch. Some women unfortunately miss that opportunity because of the environment that they are birthing in. The support system that they have around them is not honoring that. And so that just empowered me on such a different level. I was just like, whoa, like no one ever talks about birth like this. No one ever talks about birth like this. So I started a business, and I was like, we're just gonna get into it. We're here. We're in it. My second birth. Yeah, you want some? No, she doesn't. She don't want the good stuff.
You want to eat your hair?
My second birth really taught me how ceremonial the experience is. But also it taught me just, you know what, I don't even think I really reflected on my second birth and what that taught me. But my second birth was super special. Like, it was super special. Like I said, it was a celebration. Like, my water broke, and I don't know if we have time, but like my birth story for my second birth is kind of crazy. My water slightly broke at like 1 a.m. And I was just like trickling water. Yeah, it was just like coming out like very slowly. Contractions picked up at some point that morning. And we went to the grocery store during contractions, me, Greg, and Charles, and shopping at the grocery store. I mean, it was a feast. Like, there was no reason for us to have splurged that much on food and then cook that much food, but it was great, and that was just the energy that I really needed. And yeah, so I was contracting all day, all night, and then finally, like, things started to pick up during the evening hours at like 12, 1, 2 a.m. She was born at 3:44 a.m. But my second birth definitely taught me. Okay, so this is what it taught me. My second birth taught me the importance of coming from love and trust. You know, every pregnancy is different. My second pregnancy was definitely like a little bit more challenging. I feel like I got pregnant back to back, and so I was still like working on like getting my body back from Laz.
Yeah.
On top of that, like during postpartum with my first child, my first birth, I ended up dislocating my knee.
Yeah.
So I was like recovering from that and stuff. There you go. So you're welcome. Thank you. So my second birth, definitely, I was reading Sacred Birthing, and I was just like feeling super whimsical and just like magical and all this great stuff. And so sorry, this is the woman with the basket. So I really learned the importance of coming from love and trust, and what that does to the process and to your body. I really learned how to talk to my body with my second birth, to the point where, like, Lavinia told me that she was a girl. Like, I remember this clearly. I was in the pool with Laz, and it, like, a message just, like, came to me. But it didn't, I don't think I would have ever been able to receive that message had I not been opening up my channels and redefining my relationship with that trust and that love.
And that's where that spiritual come in, too, because I feel like with home birth, there's a spiritual aspect to it.
For sure.
What I'm saying? It's either you zone in, you're listening to your body, and that's when we was talking about mindful eating, you're listening to your senses. Home birth, you're actually listening to your body.
And your baby.
Your baby, like, they're actually talking to you on the low, like, that spiritual part of it, they're actually talking to you, actually having you feel everything, compared to, like, if you're in a hospital, you really don't hear it, because you have all the beeping, beep, beep, beep,
you're just
doctors coming in and out, you're just, so much things is going on that you can't focus on you and your body, so.
Yeah, alignment is super important for birthing, and for listening and receiving messages and all that stuff. And you said it's a spiritual, and I can't agree more. But it doesn't even have to be anything crazy. Like people think of like spirituality or like a spiritual experience, and they think that it has to be like this like beautiful like fairy tale whimsical thing. And I'm just like, no, it's just you need to sit down and connect with yourself real quick. Like you got life. You have life. Can you say please? Please? Thank you. You know, this is just so it doesn't even have to be anything crazy. It just has to be like you being intentional, and also like, you know, willing to do that work of understanding the relationship between trust and love and baby and body and human and life and all that stuff. Okay. So for my second birth, I mean, there was so many lessons. The importance of community. I had Greg and Charles that day, and then my mom came in later, and then it was just like, and then we did a postpartum food train, so I had people come and drop food off.
Ooh, I love
all the
that
way up to like all the way up for like a month, I think, maybe a month and a half. And so my community really came through for me that time, and I really understood the importance of why people need a village. You can't do this alone. You need a village, especially like in today's world. So I learned a lot about like how I will think about something, Greg and I, and we'll put our minds together and manifest it, and like sticking through it will come into fruition. So like, you know, just the power of manifesting, the power of envisioning something, the power of trusting and loving and all this stuff. So that was like a major initiation for me, because those are just things that I really wanted to get connected with prior to my second birth, but I just wasn't there. And so my second birth just like opened the door, and now here I am.
What do you mean food truck? Postpartum. What are we serving?
So about the wine. That's one of my favorite wine. Oh my god, I love that wine. That wine and once in I'll get drunk.
Hey, yeah, Carvin I think likes his wine too.
Girl, it's the best wine. Actually, I got two, but I got Josh.
No, it's okay. This is good.
So you did mention something about postpartum food train.
Yep.
That really had me go, because I've been really talking to women about postpartum baby showers, because we want to spend so much money in the baby shop, but what about after giving birth? And the concept is like just naming 5 people and giving them duties, because I feel like that alone could decrease the chances of postpartum depression. I mean, women are always inclined to get depression after, pregnancy, because you feel different.
Yeah.
You have thoughts in your mind like, if I'm gonna be a good mother or not.
Yeah. Especially the world that we're living in.
Exactly. But if you have a village that will help you out, and it's crazy. I think somebody started a business called The Village, and it's basically helping postpartum women. It's a Boston based.
Really?
It's Boston based, and they basically do what postpartum doula does.
That's awesome.
But they call themselves The Village.
I love that.
So I really like that. Do you
that.
think the postpartum food trend helped you a little bit when it came to like taking some responsibilities off your shoulders, or maybe helping you a little bit with not having too much postpartum depression for too long? Do you think that helps a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was really nice to not have to think about food.
Yeah.
Like this week I had someone, like 1 week I had someone drop off food for the week, like a big pan of chicken Alfredo, and then the other week I had someone drop off food enough for like a few days.
Yeah.
It was really great, yeah.
That's good.
And it was also an incentive to see the community, or it was an incentive for the community to come and see me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was nice.
And that's good. You said incentive. Like, that's the key word. Don't come and just see my baby and sit down and not do something or give you advice that I didn't ask for. Like, come and actually help me. Don't come and, oh my God, the baby's so cute. Like, no, like, okay, so what you gonna do? Like,
support comes in so many forms, but I think in postpartum there's an etiquette.
Yeah.
And we just have to wake up to that.
Yeah,
women have to wake up, like birthing women have to wake up to that etiquette and be able to advocate for themselves and their family partners and all that stuff. Need to do that too, but also people on the opposite end. Are starting to wake up to the etiquette, but also they need to be informed on etiquette, set etiquette. I think it was definitely an eye-opener for my community too, because I'm definitely someone that's not always asking for help.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do it, even like with Greg. I'm like, let me do it, I'll get all the groceries up, like, I'm fine.
I got this, I'm strong.
And that's another thing that, like, my second birth helped me with, was asking for help and, like, using the people around me. It was super helpful, extremely important, and very vital to healing, for sure. So I think every woman, no matter how you birth, no matter who you have in your life, you could have one close person, you can have 2. You need to set something up where, like, you are having your people come by and help out with something. One, the dishes, cooking food, cleaning the house, or just taking the baby while mom can shower. Super.
Alright, so we have 2 more questions, because me and Kate could talk all day, and I don't want this video to be too long. This month is March, and it's Women's Month. Women's Month with an S. I keep messing that up, but it's okay. So I just want to talk about, like, who in your life inspire you to be Kay? Is your friend, family, mommy, daddy, like, who inspires you?
I have been thinking about that question since you sent me the questions. Because I'm like, I don't want to sound cliche.
You're not a woman.
Greg is my inspiration, though. I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm very inspired by Greg, but also not just Greg. Alright? You know what? My form of the way that inspiration flows for me is very chaotic. Like, of course, I am inspired by my friends and the people in my life and the boss women in my life, and the boss men in my life. But it's like, like inspiration that like sparks. I don't know, because like I'm like, oh, I'm inspired and you inspire me, and like, I love that, and I'm gonna keep you in the back of my mind. And then there's like, oh my God, you inspired me. Let me pull my camera right now, and like, and so those sparks of inspiration that like really ignite something, those are like chaotic.
Right.
Like, I'm inspired by this because you made an effort to come and do this, and like you have your equipment set up and like and all that, and this is like my realm, you know what I'm saying? Like birth and photography, this is my realm, and so I'm like, you know, I'm inspired on how I can do something similar or share space with other women in the community, or how I can collaborate with you or whatever. But I have a lot of boss people in my life, a lot of boss people, like just doing the damn thing. Just doing the damn thing. Also, what makes me me is definitely the way that I was raised. I grew up outdoors, grew up, you know, being taught about compassion and, you know, all that stuff. And so, definitely, like, have to give flowers to that. Also, inspiration definitely flows from my experiences and how I'm living my life, and how, like, my life experiences and how I'm living my life brings me to people like you. People like, you know, some of the women that I've connected with homeschooling, some of the women that I've connected through homesteading. Because, you know, if you don't know, like, my ultimate goal in life is to, like, homestead. Like, I want to have land, and I want to be feeding off my land, and I want to have, like, a small little farm, and, you know, just, like, self-sustainable. Yeah, for sure. But that idea, that concept, that drive, that goal has brought me to, like, a whirlwind of people. And dog training too. Like, I've had dog training clients that have become my family. Like, Cricket, that's here now, her parents are my family. And I started off training their dog, and, like, you know, I had, you know, so the inspiration really just flows. I mean, I could walk in the woods and just feel super grateful, and inspiration comes from just gratitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my inspiration definitely flows from, like, so many different angles, but for sure I'm inspired by people like you in my life who are going out and getting it, and just, you know, you don't even have to work for yourself. Like, it's not even about, like, being an entrepreneur or, like, any of that. It's just about, like, doing the things that you want to do, and living in your truth. And so I'm always inspired by people like that. Always inspired by people that are willing, that see me, that are willing to pour into me, and vice versa. And the spaces that I've been in are very inspiring. The stories that I've read, you know. But yeah, I don't have, like, a one, like, who inspires me. There's inspiration that comes from every angle of my life. And there are days where I don't feel that inspired, and that's okay. And then there are days where I'm just like, wow, I spent all day in the office, and that was really great. So yeah, that's kind of, like, how that works for me.
I love that. So my last question is, you have a daughter. I don't know if you have little cousins or, you know, nieces and nephews, but as a women,
I used to do the same thing.
I can never pronounce that word right. But how would you inspire them?
By walking in my truth and just being 100% me. And that looks different every day. Looks different every year. But the thing that stays the same is, like, the drive. When I was, like, really heavy into, like, fashion, conceptual stuff, and I was working out of the Inner Sanctum, I actually had my younger cousin Hannah. She was, like, my muse.
He's calling you for help. She was over. Mom, come on, let's change.
She was my muse, and I just brought her, like, exposure. I brought her to my photo shoots. Like, I did road trips with her. And she started a photography page and stuff like that. So I think the best way that we can inspire others is to just walk in our truth and live our truth, and that takes a lot of time to identify, right? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I've been walking in my truth since the day I was born.
Yeah, we still working to it.
Yeah, so, and I'm still very much, like, unraveling what that truth is for me. But the best thing that I could do is just stay, you know, have integrity.
Right.
have morals,
Right.
have beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's really hard, especially, and I know that you could probably relate to this, but like having come from like family that is just maybe in different alignment with you, redefining those boundaries, that integrity, those beliefs, all that stuff is very challenging. But working through it and getting the job done, and like really just discovering who you are every day, because it's not about where we're going, it's about how we get there. So, you know, my best advice would be to, you know, figure out who you are, and it's not a destination, it's an everyday goal. Figure out what it is that you want in this life, what your dreams are. And you know, Greg actually helped me. Hey, shout out to Greg. Greg helped me a lot with this. Yeah. Because he's definitely someone that, like, you know, just like walking in the truth and like figuring out like your beliefs and like.
My job.
And yeah, so, you know, the best way that I can inspire is to just be me and, you know, not hold back. Like I'll go on photo shoots and like people might be wary of like me at first, and then like I get this really great shot and I'm just like, oh wait, yes, this is so great. And now like people are like opening up and they're like, oh, let's do this pose. And that right there is inspiration. That's like, you know, comfortability. That's like, I am willing to explore a little bit more with you. Like, let's take it a step up. So yeah, I mean, just be you, but again, like, understand your beliefs, who you are, have integrity, have motive, have drive, so that, like, when you get knocked off your track, it's easy for you to get right back on.
Period.
So, I guess that's, you know, that's what I would...
It's done, but before we leave, this is my ending every time I do this. For mothers who are watching this with 2 kids, 3, 4, 5, or even looking to have children, what one word you would give them to help them keep going in their journey of motherhood, pre-motherhood? Wow. One word that when they hear, they're like, I can't give up. I have to keep going. This is one question I don't pre-ask because I wanted to just say off rip.
Oh, that's so hard.
If it was you, what one word you would say to yourself?
One word? It can't be like
It could be a phrase or one word.
Alright, I have it on the affirmation wall in here.
Okay.
And I would say reflect and strengthen.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and Greg is the one that told me to write it. And that one has been resonating with me a lot because reflection is super important, but also you should be strengthening when you're reflecting.
Yes.
And as a mother of 2 who's extremely overstimulated almost all the time and overwhelmed sometimes and just like over it half the time, I am finding myself, especially like this past week, where I was really forced to be like, okay, like I'm not going to work this week. I'm with the kids. I'm like kind of in the house. I need to figure out a way to make this work for everybody. And I had to reflect and I had to just strengthen myself so that I could do it better tomorrow. So reflect and strengthen is what I would say.
Ooh, I like that. Anywho, first off, thank you.
Thank you. This was so great.
Thank you for letting me invade your space.
Thank
you, Greg.
Thank you for dealing with the baby.
No, that's okay. This is like, I want everything to be so organic. Like we don't kick the kids out. They can stay and make all the noise they need to make.
Yeah, well.
But
y'all need to go on the other road. But I feel you.
But thank you. The meal was great.
This was so good.
I will add the recipe on the video. But don't forget, and my special guest over here,
say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to share. Tell your mama to tell your daddy to tell your papi.
Everybody in the village.
Okay. To subscribe to the channel and watch out for episode 3. So thank you for watching.